Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Franklin County Week 3 football preview. My name is Caden Pounders. I'm the sports editor at the Franklin Free Press. And as always, I'll be taking you through what's going on with each of the 6 teams and the football teams in the county. We're going to go through these in alphabetical order, as we usually do, which means we'll be starting with Belgreen. Belgreen is one of the 2 teams that it has bye weeks this week. Belgreen and Thorpe Town are off. And Belgreen and Thorptown are going into this bye week after playing each other. Belgreen drew first blood in what should be a great rivalry game for many years to come for both sides. During the summer, during the media days, both uh, players from both teams talked about how the Belgreen Thorptown game was the game they were most looking forward to. Belgreen gets bragging rights for a year, getting a win in that game. They won 30-14. Skylar Vickery, Landon Cox both had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game to lead the Bulldogs to the win. Like I said, Belgreen's off this week, so nothing really to talk about other than who they'll be playing next week, which is Tanner, and that's going to be probably Belgreen's toughest competition of the year. If Belgreen sits at 2-1 right now, if they can beat or play competitively against um, Tanner, that will be a huge measuring stick. It will either way, the game will be a measuring stick of just how far this Belgrade team has come in the few months that they've had a varsity program. Again, like they played some JV and junior high games last year, but this is their first year of varsity play. If they can put together a competent, a convincing performance against Tanner on Friday, next Friday, I think that will be a really good sign for where this Belgrade football program is at the moment. Next up, we've got Phil Campbell. Phil Campbell is coming into this game at Oakman, another region opponent at 1-1. They're coming off a thrilling 4 overtime victory at home against Vinemont. They were down 8-0 at halftime. They come back, tied up 14-14 at the end of regulation. And then uh, Jacob Hamilton has been, has been adamant about how hard his guys have worked. The leadership his seniors have shown on that team, and I think it kind of came through in that game against Vinemont. Hasten Scott, a sophomore quarterback, accounted for all 4 touchdowns in overtime. He threw for 1, rushed for 3, excuse me. But the biggest thing to me in that game was what Coach Hamilton told me. His offensive lineman, his senior offensive lineman, came to him before the 4th overtime started and said, if when we get the ball back, run it behind us, we're going to score and win the game. And that's what they did. They ran it behind their offensive lineman on the right side. They scored. They went for 2 after Vinemont was unsuccessful in their 2-point conversion and won 44-42. They won the first region game. Just a huge game for them overall. And I think going forward, obviously this can build some confidence for Phil Campbell, but Coach Jacob Hamilton has said, they don't want to just compete. They want to be winning region titles. And this was a good first step, obviously, to get a win in the region, but to overcome the deficit, to come back from behind really the entire game and win it in the end, it's a good sign for Phil Campbell. Now they go to Oakland this week. If they can get another win there, they go 2-0 in the region. I think that will send a signal to everyone else that this Phil Campbell team is coming to play. They lost, to 4A Hamilton, but they put up a lot of points, a lot of yards in that game. And I think this Phil Campbell offense is legit. I think Coach Jacob Hamilton is really confident in his defense and what those guys can do. They have a lot of senior leadership. So if Phil Campbell can take this road test, win on the road in the region, it might just be an indicator of how serious this team is in region play. Next up is Red Bay. Red Bay is one of the only teams in North Alabama that hasn't played a region game yet. That will change this week. They go to play Winston County. Red Bay's had it tough so far. They're 0-2 to start the season. They lost in a tight one to the University Charter School, 16-14 last week. They want to turn it around this week against Winston County, but Winston County's coming in this game undefeated, 1-0 in the region. Red Bay overall in the past has had success against Winston County, but obviously coming into this game they're struggling. So we'll see. This will obviously be a great indicator of just where this Red Bay team is. Getting to the region games, the games that really matter. This will be a huge one for Red Bay. It's on the road, so hostile environment, and like I said, they have in the past they've had a pretty good record against Winston County. Winston County probably knows that too, and they don't want to win this game. So um, definitely a huge game for Red Bay. They need to get a win um, in that column. So we'll see what they can do against Winston County. But so far, it's been a pretty tough year for the Tigers so far. Now we've got Russellville. Russellville is coming to a game and a region game against East Limestone. Uh, they went on the road. This is gonna be their third straight road game, second straight road region game. They went to Lawrence County last week and took care of the Red Devils 42-20. That was behind another great game from junior running back Cameron Finney, who finished I think with over 350 yards in that game. Um, in the past, um, maybe 10 years ago, this game was this matchup between East Limestone and Russellville was competitive. It hasn't been the last few years. Russellville's kind of taking it to them the last few years. I'm gonna kind of expect the same thing this week. East Limestone's 0-2. This is gonna be their first region game. They're playing against a team that's gonna have confidence after going on the road and beating Lawrence County, one of their big rivals. Um, Obviously one of the best players in the state in Cameron Finney. So I expect Russell to win this one and win it by a pretty good margin. You know, Lawrence County was obviously going to be tougher, and it's always tough. I mean, obviously, it's always tough going on the road and playing a game, but um, there's not East Limestone doesn't have a whole lot going for them right now. One of the things to look for will be how much Coach Dustin Goodwin lets his son Wick Goodwin throw the ball around this week. Wick Goodwin was, essentially named the starting quarterback. The permanent starting role was given to him last week, and he played most of the reps, took most of the reps at quarterback last week against Lawrence County. Trip Cleveland, the sophomore, came in, towards the end and got a few drives. But it's Wick Goodwin's show now. He's a freshman. He's obviously going to be still learning and gaining experience, but I'm interested to see whether Coach Goodwin, puts the ball in his hands more and lets him throw the ball around the field some more, spreading it around. That's what Coach Goodwin wants to do, but he's been pretty honest about saying, we're gonna, we can't go too fast, and we've got to, play to our strengths. And right now, the strength for Russell is Cameron Finney. I mean, put the ball in his hands, let the offensive line do a great job up front and block, and he can usually take care of the rest. So, um, some series history with these two teams. Russell's 12-2 all time against East Limestone. East Limestone's last win came in 2014. Um, so yeah, again, I think this will be a fairly straightforward win for Russell. Go to 2-0 in the region, 3-1 overall, and yeah, I think it'll be a good game for Golden Tiger fans to look forward to. Now we've got Tharptown. Tharptown is like Belgrade, one of the other two teams that's got a bye week this week. Um, like I said earlier, they played Belgrade last week. They're 0-3 right now. Haven't played a region game yet, but obviously the Tharptown Wildcats are struggling at this point. They've got a bye week, and so all you can say is that you hope that they take this week to prepare. They've got their heart, which is going to be the hardest game of the year coming up after this. Next week they're traveling or they hosting. They're traveling to Decatur Heritage next week. Decatur Heritage is ranked number 8. Um, so that's going to be their toughest game of the year by far. Um, I don't, you can't expect them to get a win in that game. They scored their first touchdown of the year. That was an Austin Chaney run against Belgrade. That was their first touchdown of the year last week. Belgrade, Thorntown's just struggling, and so um, we'll just have to see what they can give it next week against Decatur Heritage. It's gonna be a really tough game, um, and it could get ugly, but perhaps Thorntown can surprise everyone and make that a competitive matchup. We'll have to wait and see. And now finally coming to our to Vina, which right now has to be the surprise team in the county this year. They're 2-0, 1-0 in the region. Um, it's their first 2-0 start since 2016. They beat Phillips last week for the first time in I think 7 years or 5 years. So Vina's off to a great start. They're really confident. Last week they beat Phillips um, by a pretty good margin. It wasn't close, and this team is obviously feeling it. Vina, the Red Devils, under second-year head coach Cody Renfro, like they said many many times over the last few weeks and during the summer, they want to change the reputation of Vina, and so far they're doing that right now. I mean, it's still early. This is going to be their third game. They're going to a game against Shoals Christian, who's 0-3 and 0-1 in the region. It's a game that I expect Vina to win. Now, uh, Belgreen beat Shoals Christian for their first win in varsity history. I expect Vina to beat Shoals Christian too, but Shoals Christian is really struggling. They're giving up over 40 points a game. I think they scored 21 points all year through 3 games. So this should be a game. Based off the performances that Vina has had so far this season, it's a game I expect Vina to win. Um, but I think this could also be a game where Vina kind of establishes or creates kind of a dominant mindset. I mean, you're going against it. You're hosting a team that's really struggling. You really need to go in there and lay it on those guys. And so that's what I would like to see Vina do. We'll see if they can do it. They're gonna run the same thing they've been doing all year so far at this point, which is establish the run game, run it down your throats, um, and make you beat them on defense. Which to this point, Vina's defense has also really really been stingy so far. So um, yeah, that's going to be a really cool, interesting game. Let's see if Vina can stay perfect, move to 3-0, 2-0 in the region, and we'll just have to see where this team goes this season. It's Cody Renfro has said it multiple times to me. He's really excited. The team is really excited about what they can do this year, and we'll see if they can really surprise everyone, get to 3-0, 2-0 in the region, and see how far this team can go. And that'll do it. This has been the Franklin County Week 3 football preview. Again, my name is Caden Pounders. Thank you for listening, and we'll try and get back with you next week with another preview. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great Friday, great weekend.